Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer Powdermaker, and I'm so pleased to share this presentation with you today. And as you can see, our presentation is about shifting your energy and shifting your life. And as it noted in the program, this is a workshop about manifestation. And it's called You Are a Manifestation Genius. Because, quite simply, you are. Everyone is a manifestation genius. And here's why. Everything is energy. Our universe is comprised of a conscious energy field. The father of modern physics, Max Planck, concluded at the end of his life a lifetime of research, more than 60 years of higher math that gives even science geeks like me a headache, that the universe arises from what he described as a matrix of all matter. And his conclusion was this matrix had to be conscious based on the evidence of the universe, of how the universe is constructed and the way all of the parts of the universe function together. And in his final works, he concluded that this matrix of all matter was indeed the mind of God. And if anyone has studied any of the Hermetic teachings, which are the ancient Jewish spiritual traditions, the Hermetic teachings also teach that the universe is contained within the mind of God. So we are within a conscious energy field. And it's this energy field that gives rise to everything we identify as physical experience. So whether you're talking about biology, the structures of our body, or geology, the structures of our planet, or cosmology, the structures of our solar system and galaxies, they all fit together and function in a mathematically perfect way. And the odds of that happening on a Newtonian scale, as in by accident, it's just an unconscious clockwork. It's a blender full of ingredients, and somebody maybe pushed the button, and maybe it all fell into place perfectly to have life arise from it. The odds are pretty slim, and if you do the math, they're really slim. But if we take into account that this energy field actually is consciousness, and it's not just consciousness, it's our consciousness. It's the same consciousness that inhabits us. Then the math changes and everything starts to fall into place. So we know pretty much, we're all pretty convinced that the physical universe does exist. So there you go, it manifested. It's already a done deal. Happened billions of years ago, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson and some of the smart people in science. So the universe is already manifest, and all of us here in this room are already manifest. Welcome. Come in. So when we, these days, think about manifestation in the spiritual community, please come in, join us. We think about manifestation, and probably how many people have heard of The Secret? The movie The Secret? Yeah, I figured pretty much everybody would hear of that. And how many in this room tried to do what The Secret told you to do and didn't get such great results? You can be honest, that's okay. It's not going to leave this room. Right. Well, okay. So now why is that? So manifestation has kind of gotten a bad rap. That's a word now. It's like a trigger. People hear manifestation and they, but that doesn't work. The secret didn't work. Well, I'm here to help you demystify that. What they presented in The Secret was the facts without the substance. So they gave you the facts of a manifested universe, which we've all just agreed is happening because we're all pretty much sure we're here in this room. We can't actually prove it. If you try to do the math, you actually can't prove that we're here. But let's take it with a grain of salt that we are. So why did we not get great results from doing what they said in The Secret? Because everything is energy, And energy communicates through vibration. So even though the universe is conscious, and it's our own consciousness that inhabits the universe and in fact animates the universe, it's not speaking English or French or Spanish or any other language that humans have made up, for that matter. What the universe is speaking is vibration. Everything has a vibrational frequency. When you eat a piece of food, you don't have to tell your stomach, now this is food, digest it, take in the nutrients, make sure you send those nutrients where they have to go, and support my body. No, your body knows what is food, and if you eat something that's not food, your body's going to let you know pretty quick that it's not. It's going to reject it actually pretty fast. Well, how does that happen? Your stomach's not speaking English. Your stomach is reacting to the vibration in the biochemical reaction of your food. So we all have a vibration, and everything comprised of energy, which is everything in the universe, has a vibration also. Vibrations that are in harmony, like you with your salad you ate for lunch today, or whatever yummy thing you hopefully had, that's in harmony with your body, so your body can take in those nutrients. If you tried to eat a rock, it would not be in so much harmony with your body, and the results would not be so good. So why do we get stuck? Right, we are out of harmony with the flow of our natural vibration. The universe is actually manifesting all the time, and so are we as a product of the universe. But we're not manifesting what we think we're manifesting, because I can tell the universe all day long, I want a red sports car, I want a red sports car, I want a red sports car, but if I have a poverty consciousness from a rough upbringing where there wasn't enough money and a new car was like asking for the moon, my actual vibration is saying to the universe, a red sports car is impossible. A red sports car is impossible. And since that's what I'm actually vibrating, that's the actual message going to the universe. And the universe says, okay, a red sports car is impossible. Now we all know a red sports car is not impossible, since they do exist in the universe. But for me, if I'm in that state of emotional consciousness, and that's a key word, the emotional consciousness, is what tells me how I'm communicating to the universe. So our emotions are not really that complicated. The emotions live in the body. They don't live in the mind. The mind can check in with the body, but our culture says live from the neck up, live in the frontal lobe. Now I'm all about the frontal lobe. Like I said, I'm a science geek. I love the frontal lobe. It is great. It's good for math, it's great for technology, it makes up wonderful languages and art and all sorts of fun things. But it does not communicate to the consciousness of the universe. Your emotions do. They've recently discovered, if any of you are science geeks like myself, they've recently discovered in neuroscience, you have up to 3 times as many neurons in your gut as you do in your brain. And you're creating more neurons in your belly all the time. All the time. In fact, if you get a brain injury, the new neurons are coming from here, which if we think about it, it kind of makes sense. Where does all our food go? It goes into our gut. This is where the building blocks come from. Your body is producing the regenerative powers from your gut. Go with your gut. What does your gut say? We all know these phrases, right? Because this is where your intuition lives. It lives here. It lives on this continuum. It doesn't live up here. It lives down here. So if you can train yourself to check in with what your gut is saying, it is always going to tell you the truth. It is always going to accurately let you know where you are on the manifestational scale. Meaning, if you feel good, if you have a positive feeling, my grandmother used to say this one, do you know it in your bones? Can you feel it in your bones? Well, your bones are where your blood cells come from, of course. Your deepest knowing is going to be in the marrow of your bones, right? If you know something in your bones, it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say about it. You and the universe are in accord with that knowing. And it will find a way to deliver that, whatever it is, whatever it's an experience or a condition or a thing. If you know it in your bones, the universe is in accord with you and says, okay, I'm going to find a way to get that to you, regardless of what the external picture looks like. But it goes both ways. If you know in your bones, like I did as a child, that there's no money. There's just no money. Forget about it. The red sports car is an impossibility. If I know that in my bones, if I know it in my gut, the universe says, okay. Because here is the thing they left out of the secret. And here's the thing that I hope you're going to be able to take away and be able to use in your own manifestation process. The universe has no judgment. It's neutral. It is a neutral field of infinite possibility, which means everything beyond what humanity can conceive of, it is unlimited. The limitation is our job. We have something called discernment. We have the ability to make a decision, to judge. This is preferable to that. Having money is preferable to not having money. Well, the universe has no use for money. The universe does not have an ATM card or bank account. That's a human device. The universe doesn't have an opinion about your bank account, but you do. That's your job. Your job is to have opinions, because as a human, you're here to select from the banquet of infinity what you find most desirable. Now, I am a student of Zen. I started on the Zen path, maybe younger than most, but it's the one I return to again and again. And one of my favorite teachings from Zen, from our grandfather Lao Tzu, is that if you can still the raging torrent of the mind and bring your focus powerfully into the present, the universe will come to heel at your feet and reveal all of its secrets to you. Now that might be a little too poetic for some people, but in practical terms, what that means is we have to find a way to still the churning thoughts that run through our mind on a daily basis. We have up to 50,000 thoughts every day. That's 350,000 thoughts in a week. That's a lot of thinking going on, but they're the same thoughts. They repeat over and over and over again. And if these are not thoughts that give you that good, warm in your gut, you know it's good, you know it's your path. If they don't make you feel that way, you know for sure that you are creating something that is not going to be enjoyable to you. That's what that feeling means. We can really do away with all the emotional descriptors, and we can really just have positive and negative. We can just have the two poles of the scale. Does it make you feel good and uplifted? Does it make you feel low and anxious? If you just ask yourself that question about your thoughts, you will know instantly whether you're on the right path of manifestation. And this is true for every experience, every condition, every item that you think that you desire. If you think about it and you get a sinking feeling, a cold, tight, anxious feeling in your gut, you're holding that thing that you might think you want away from yourself. And that feeling is there to give you that information. But nobody taught you how to check in with your feelings. They said, live in your head, think your way outside of the box, toe the line, follow the program, fall into place. Well, that might be great for whoever's agenda you're serving, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be so good for you. If you feel good about what you're doing on a daily basis, if you wake up in the morning and you are excited about your life, you feel accepted and loved and passionate about the people you interact with, the universe is yours. As Lao Tzu said, the universe is going to reveal all of its secrets to you just by bringing your focus into that present moment. But most of us live in a condition of chronic stress, running from A to B. I have to make this appointment, I have to make this quota, I have to deal with that so-and-so of a boss, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't make us feel good in our guts. Now, I'm not saying go out and quit your jobs, although some of you might want to. But I am saying you only get this moment right now. This is the moment you have. You don't have yesterday, and you don't have tomorrow. You have now. And what Lao Tzu was teaching us is that all of your power is here now, if you can bring your attention to it. And that's why we get stuck. We get stuck because our mental focus is going to our childhood, to the argument I had yesterday, to my crappy bank balance, to, oh, what's going to happen in the future? Am I going to have enough money to retire? What if my kids do this? What if my brother does that? In fact, our attention goes everywhere except the one place where it can do us any good at all, which is right now. Now this, I must apologize if I go too quickly because this is an 90-minute presentation that I'm going to squeeze into 30 minutes. So I am downstairs at the booth if you guys want to come down and have any questions for later. But right now, I want to give you guys something that you can take home with you, okay? Now, there's a Harvard educational study that has shown if you come to a seminar like that, and you, like this one, like today, and you sit and you listen, you're going to remember 1% of the information. If you take notes, like our A student here in the front row, you're going to remember, how much do you think you're going to remember from your notes?
2 or 3.
2 or 3%. Exactly. She's the A student. She already knows. 2 or 3%. But if you participate, you're going to remember 95% of the information. So right now, I'm going to ask everyone to participate in a very easy exercise that is going to immediately shift your energy now. Because now is the only time that we have. Okay? So everyone, take a nice cleansing breath with me. And let it out. Relax. And now, actually, if anyone has phones or notepads, get them out because I want you to focus on all of your upsets. Just for a minute. I know, you think I'm contradicting myself. I want you to write a short list about your most pressing issue. If you have a phone, you can make a note in your phone, or if you have a piece of paper, you can just write it down. And you can just think about that thing. When your mind isn't occupied by anything else, that thing that comes up that just bugs you. Whether it was that grade school bully who always stole your lunch money, or, you know, my brother was a bit of a bully and he picked on me so bad, it used to make me so mad. I want you to, and it's okay, we're summoning that emotion for a reason. So it's okay. We're going to make you feel better once you get it down on paper. Just a minute more. Get it out there. Your most pressing concern, your most unattainable goal, the one that you really want to create but just makes you feel so bad. Okay. So now you have it. You have your upset. You know what it is. So now, close your eyes and picture an empty suitcase in front of you. And I want you to pack that negative emotion and those upsetting memories into the suitcase. Pack them in. It's a magical suitcase. It fits any size issue or problem. Put it in that suitcase. I want you to close the lid, zip it up, click the little lock mechanism, and now I want you to take that suitcase and I want you to launch it into space, right into the sun. And with a big breath, we're going to come in and we're going to launch that suitcase right up into the sun and watch it just explode in that heat, that golden fire of our life-giving sun. And exhale. And if you need another breath to really get that visualization, just breathe it in. And all that emotion into the sun. And now come back into the room and see if you don't feel a little lighter, a little better, a little bit more like, hey, I don't need to carry that around with me anymore. Because it's gone. It's gone. The past is gone. So when you catch yourself having one of those repeating thoughts, one of those 50,000 thoughts that you've had every day for decades, pack your emotional baggage and chuck it into the sun. If you guys like angels, I love working with Archangel Michael. I can hand it off to Archangel Michael and he can throw it into the sun. You know, whatever makes the visualization work for you best. If you like rockets, you know, science again, I like rockets, launch it into the sun. But you can do this anytime you catch yourself like a dog with a bone, my grandmother used to say. I'm just gnawing on that issue. I'm gnawing on it. But it's not doing you any good because there's nothing you can do about that. It's already over. So that is pack your emotional baggage. Now, I have a lot more exercises. This next one is great. Stepping through the zero is a great focus and concentration exercise. And if anyone wants to go through it downstairs when we have a little bit more time, because I think I've only got about 9 minutes left to talk to you nice folks, we can do that. But if you are in a situation, say there's an important meeting at work, or maybe you want to leave work behind and you have trouble letting that go at the end of the day, stepping through the zero is a great way of bringing your focus into the present. And I promise anyone that comes by the booth, I will go through that with you today. I don't have, again, I'll take questions downstairs. You guys are divine channel. And that's really the focus of my work with all of my clients. I grew up in a very dysfunctional and addicted, abusive household. I was 200 pounds by the age of 10 years old. It was not a fun childhood. And as some of you might have guessed from my earlier stories, we didn't have a lot of money. So there was always stress and arguments and fights. And I knew by the time I was 12, I had to do something, or my life was just going to continue down this awful path that I had been born onto. Now, we can get into soul contracts and choosing your own parents and past lives and who murdered who 1,000 years ago. But again, as grandfather Lao Tzu taught us, now is the only time we have to do anything about all of that. It's all very interesting, and I love past lives, don't get me wrong. I love the work of my sister who just left from the previous speech, and the Akashic records and all of that, but I love her focus because she brings that into the now, because now is where our power lies. I can tell you for a fact that I created a vision of myself in a fit, healthy body. And that's what I live today. I quit smoking over 10 years ago in less than 3 minutes with a meditation that I invented. Never relapsed, never went back. I've used this technique with clients who have, they say quitting nicotine is harder than quitting heroin. Now, I've never done heroin, so I can't say for sure, but I'll take the scientists at their word. I know plenty of people. I tried to quit many, many times and used all of the tools that were out there. I have a brilliant instructor that I studied with, a well-known Emmy-winning actor, and he chews 15 pieces of Nicorette gum every class. And I studied with him for 5 years. And one day I was like, hey, Larry, do you realize that you're only supposed to use that for 6 weeks? And he grumbled and groaned and said, oh, I know, but I can't quit. I can't quit. I said, when you're ready, I'll teach you how. So that is what I do for folks. I can read for you guys. I can give you angel messages. I can bring in your guides. But I can't live with all of you. There's only one of me to go around. So I would rather teach you where your power resides so that you have it every day, all day long. Because you are manifestational geniuses. And I would love the opportunity to just remind you that that's who you really are. And if any of you are interested in going a little further down this path with me, I'm doing a course, Master Manifester. It's an online course I think it's the first weekend in May we're doing it. And the reason I decided to do it online, not that I don't love the Temple of Light and being face-to-face with everybody, but not everybody can travel all the time, and some of my clients live a little further away and can't always make it to events like this. And since the technology is available, I would love to give this to you guys online so that you'll be able to have a download, you'll be able to access the content of the course. We're going to go through so many more tools. This is just a little sample. There's energy shielding. Energy shielding can cause a bit of a fracas in a spiritual community because, again, law of attraction, people want to say, oh, no, if you're shielding, then you're manifesting something to shield against. Well, in my opinion, I love rain, especially here in Southern California. I love the rain. We need it. It's great. But if I have to go somewhere, I'm still going to carry an umbrella. I'm not arguing against the rain. I'm not hating the rain. I'm just going to carry the umbrella because I don't want my head to get wet. We live in a conscious energy field with a lot of unconscious manifestors all around us. You might want an umbrella every so often. Some of you might work in offices. You have a nice weekend like this. You get your energy way up. You have spiritual awakenings. You're feeling good. You go into the office and there they are, the company gossip. And they've got the dirt. And they're ready to spread it all over your nice shiny energy. If you learn energy shielding, they're not going to be able to do that. They might try, and they just won't be able to reach you. But again, because this isn't the time, we don't have time to go through all that today. The repatterning your energy, I described that a little bit in the recovery work that I do. You can actually repattern your energy so that addictions, compulsions, abuse, things that we absorbed when we were children and didn't have any filters in place, we can repattern your energy to before that happened. There's a way to actually reset your energy. And it's interesting, again, the latest science, the latest research in psychology and psychiatry is coming out, and they're starting to recognize we function in 7-year cycles. One interesting thing in medical schools is you are rebuilt every 7 years. Every cell in your body is rebuilt completely every 7 years. Luckily, it doesn't happen all at the same time, so we don't have to melt like a caterpillar and come out as a butterfly. We do it a little bit at a time. Your stomach does it in 7 days. Your bones do it in 6 weeks. Every system does it at a different harmonious rate. But the good news is, you're never older than 7. You're never older than 7 years old. So there goes the age paradigm right out the window. Everybody's 7. That's as old as you can ever get in this body. But the interesting thing in psychiatry is they're discovering our minds also function on a 7-year cycle. From 0 to 7, we have absolutely no barrier between the conscious and the unconscious mind. We soak in everything that's being projected around us, for good or ill. We have no control over it. From 8 through 14, that barrier is just growing. It's like a tender little green sprout. It's starting to be there. You're starting to, when you're 8 years old, you're starting to get an awareness that there's a difference between you and your mom, and you and the kids in school, but it's not quite there yet. You don't have a worldview. And at 14, well, anyone with kids knows what happens. All hell breaks loose. Because that's when your identity slips into place. That separation between subconscious and conscious mind is fully grown at 14, and it's time to start exploring your worldview. And in order to do that, you have to reject everything that went on. And then again, 21 to 27, you have another awakening of identity. And it happens throughout your life, every 7 years. And there's a good reason for that. Because in those first 7 years, some not so great things might have gone on around you. Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to not have that keep repeating and playing out in your life? There is. Your 7-year cycle is part of that. But there's also a tool you can use at any point in that cycle. There are certain times of day when your subconscious is available to you. During your waking hours during the day, the subconscious is effectively walled off for most people. So again, you would sit, why did that Harvard study show? You can go to a conference like this, and if you just sit and listen, you're going to remember less than 1% of what you hear. Because your subconscious is walled off from your conscious mind. Your conscious mind can take it in, but unless you find a way to integrate it into the supercomputer of your subconscious mind, that information is just basically going to evaporate out of your memory. It's not going to be there. But if you learn the techniques and the tools of when you can access that division between subconscious and conscious, you could put anything in your subconscious that you desire, like a fit, healthy body, like loving, supportive relationships, like I'm a money machine and the universe supports me endlessly. You can put anything in there, but you have to know how to do it. And we weren't taught this. Wouldn't it be great if they taught this in 5th grade? Wouldn't it be great if they taught you this at any point in your education? That's why we have New Earth and we have the spiritual community and the expos, because there are great teachers teaching these life-changing tools. And I would love to be able to teach some of you how to do that as well. And I think I'm just about running up on the end of my time. I don't know if somebody's coming in or not, but
yeah.
I think I have, right, that's my final slide. Maybe a quick minute for questions, if you have some questions.
Yeah, there's 7 years, so your 7-year cycle starts when you're born to 7 and then repeats and repeats.
Right.
I'm wondering, is this just another octave maybe of that, but when the astrological years come by and there's a numerological vibration for you that year, that's like maybe the second?
That would go, yes, I know a little bit about the numerology, and it would either harmonize with the cycle you're in or conflict. So depending on where you are in your cycle versus like this year, 2015,
Didn't everybody feel a change? What, weren't we over 2014? Oh, I couldn't wait. 2014 was like, I'm running through oatmeal. Oh, no, I can't move. And suddenly, boom, 2015, it all shifted. Because the numerology, right. The numerology shifted, the energy shifted, and it's carrying all of us forward. Yes. And I don't know if anyone here was at the Conscious Life Expo back in February. 1, 2, maybe a couple. Some of the panelists, the one thing that was very exciting to me that I heard is there is actually a galactic shift happening in 2017 that is what everyone was ruminating about 2012 and we didn't know, and da-da-da. Well, they did the math wrong. And it's actually 2017, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, come on, the Mayans made it a round calendar. Did I give anybody a hint? It's a cycle, it's not an end. In fact, there is no linear progression. The shape of the universe is a sphere. There's no such thing as a straight line. And that's actually a scientific fact. There is no such thing as a straight line. That's an illusion. Everything at its root shape is a sphere. And everything is expressing itself in a fractal pattern. So I think that's it. Our time is up. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. And come and sit downstairs.